What's up, everybody? I'm Bobby, that's Chase, and we want to tell you about video games. This is episode 385 of the Casual Hour. It is July 24th. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. Chase, when do you play video games? Morning or nighttime?
Well, Bobby, you know one thing about me is that I don't play video games. I just buy video games.
When do you buy video games, Chase? Morning or night?
I would say generally I'm playing games in the evenings, more often than not. I like so this room I'm in, this is where I mainly play games. I got my TV on this side, my couch over there. This is very good audio content for
you should be watching live if you're listening. What are you doing? You're missing out. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. But I've got these windows over here, and they, I have the blackout shade stuff, like everything that's blacked out. I'm trying to black out, but it still bleeds enough light in from the edges that it glares on the TV. So I prefer gaming in the evenings where I'm not getting into that glare. For sure. It's also one of the reasons I like handheld games is that you can take them anywhere. You can take them to a darker spot or adjust the light however you need to.
Funny you should say that, because we ran a community poll over on Threads. If you haven't followed us on Threads, and if you're not hip to what's going on Threads, there is a very wholesome community around game dev, video games. So if you're trying to find a new destination to talk about that stuff, I would recommend going to Threads. But 69 votes, very nice of you, Threads, came in with 84% of you preferring to game at night. And there was a lot of discussion around this. So if you want to be a part of some of these in the future, we're going to try and roll out some fun community polls that we can bring back and tie into our show. And if you have any ideas or thoughts or commentary on what we're doing here on the show, you can email us, thecasualhour@gmail.com, or just add us on Threads, Twitter, Instagram, any of those spots.
Bobby, would you count yourself among those 84? Those 84%?
Yeah, I mean, I talk a little bit about it in some of those threads there, but it's mostly I don't want to take away. There's a whole discussion today around just like balance on how do you create content, but also support friends and communities making content. And at night, I kind of just use that time for me. I'm not needed at work. My wife and dogs are usually asleep, so that's like my time to use it.
Yeah, you like game late at night, right?
I do. Like, we usually wrap up here around 10 p.m. Central. I'll get everybody settled, get a refill, come back up here and start gaming or working on art for the show, editing the show, that sort of thing. But if it's a day off, and I work a 4x10 schedule at work, so Fridays when my wife's working, I'm off. I'll game most of the day. And there's like certain games like, all right, cool, I'm gonna have coffee and play it. But there's some games where it's just like time to turn the brain off and just relax and unwind a little bit and take that in.
Like I'll do doing Fire Emblem Heroes or something, getting my dailies and stuff in. Like I'll do that stuff in the morning, like on an iPad in bed. Yeah. But I generally don't want to pick up a controller until afternoon.
That makes sense. I'm with you there. Like, I think you and I are both pretty much, we work from home. Like, we're here a lot. It's there if we need it for quick breaks and whatnot. But I feel like I am at a point in the evening where I can just say my priorities are going to shift. I'm going to kind of unwind and focus on this. But
yeah, I know some people who like work who game over their lunch hour, and that could never be me for a couple reasons. One, I like eating during my lunch hour, and if I do have extra time, I kind of just want to like chill and do very little. Like I want to watch a YouTube video, or I have read sometimes, but I don't really want to play a game at that point. Yes. Thank you. That is very true.
Chat's saying that you wait till afternoon to play with the joystick. Fair. There's rules here. But speaking of rules, we got a show to talk about. We got a big one tonight. We're going to be talking about some new games. I'm really excited to hear some of your thoughts on the games that you've got picked. We're going to check in on a few games that we've been playing. But you had pitched the idea, and I'll just let you pitch it again. Like, what did you pitch to me, and what are we going to do in the back half of the show tonight?
Yeah, so Evo was last weekend, the Evolution Fighting Tournament in Las Vegas, and it sounded like it went great. I watched the Street Fighter 3 or Street Fighter Third Strike, Third Strike. I can't remember which one it was. It's
You watch people
an old
fighting
Street
in the
Fighter.
Street, it sounds like.
And then I watched Street Fighter 6, and
Okay.
I've got some of the other ones loaded up. I'm going to watch those too. But those were a lot of fun. But it also led to excitement around fighting games again. And there's a new Marvel versus Capcom fighting collection that's coming out really soon. And it's got a lot of people thinking about Marvel vs. Capcom 4, which is not a real game yet, but might be a real game at some point. Who knows? And I think I just thought it'd be fun. Hey, Bobby likes the Marvel stuff. I like the Capcom. Well, we both like the Capcom stuff. Let's come up with our own roster.
You don't love Marvel MCU, but you're a comic book fan. You appreciate
I would say I used to love Marvel a lot more than I do now. But yeah, I still enjoy a Spider-Man every once in a while.
Very well informed on traditional classic comic Marvel. You know the characters.
Yes. I never read the comics. I was not a comic reader growing up, but yeah, I know the guys and what they do.
If I had you hooked up to the same test that Bill Murray uses at the beginning of Ghostbusters, and I'm holding up flashcards of Marvel characters, you would not get shocked more than you would get them right.
Probably. That's probably true. So with all of that knowledge, I thought it'd be fun if we came up with our own fun rosters for a theoretical Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I think we're going to do that in a draft format, and so Bobby will get characters of his and I'll get characters of mine, and then we can put it out to the listeners and viewers to say who came up with the more interesting list.
I will put out, this is like me saying, hey, there'll be a graphic here that has something pretty on it of all of our shit. So cool. Well, Chase, before we get to the new stuff, I just want to let you know I about fucking uninstalled the first Descendant.
Well, that's news, because I thought you were really liking that.
I am. This motherfucking
like it's
boss,
dangerous how much you're liking it. Is that what's going on here?
I'm really enjoying it, but I hit the fucking skill check of the game where it's like, hey, you need to go in and really, so you can put the cards, the modifiers on your character. So if I'm going up against a boss that's dealing, in this case, it was Pyromaniac, I'm sorry. But when you're pulling up a boss, it's going to give you a stat sheet. It's going to say like, hey, they're weak to this. They do a lot of this. Your resistance needs to be this. And so when you have a modifier card, it's going to say like, hey, this is going to give you 3% fire resistance, but you can upgrade that card with materials. So if you upgrade it enough, the cost of the card goes up with it, and you only have so much that your character can have. So like you might have to uninstall certain mods to put one on, but I had to like level this card up to get to 2,000 fire resistance. And the problem is that everybody was discovering around the same time that they were not prepared for this boss. And you go into a public matchmaking thing, which is really active and great, but holy shit, like if one person drops,
so even if you've done all the grinding to get to that point, another like rube is going to come in there and ruin it for everybody. I see.
The other thing that they do, Chase, they put the times that the boss has killed you next to its name. And
okay, that's pretty good.
And this motherfucker got me about 35 times before we got him. And what they do is like when you beat a region, they're like, hey, you need to go fight this boss when you get to a certain level. And so they kind of test your mettle to get you to the next region. I needed to get to this region because for Valby, the card I'm getting, which this is how gross it is. She has the water ability. Well, there's this one that like stacks your crit multiplier if you're in water, but it's a super like rare 2% drop for one of the events. So
2%, that means you only have to do it 50 times.
I'm grinding.
You'll probably get it then.
I'm grinding.
God.
I really want to play this game with you. I
want to play this a lot less now after hearing this.
But we got through them, had a good time, got the build going, unlocked a few more characters. They did announce a new Descendant that's coming. It's been rumored that she's going to be another healer type or a support
the
type.
Second Descendant.
This
finally
the 13th Descendant, I think.
Okay.
And the other thing is the ultimate versions of some of the other Descendants. There's only like 5 of those right now. Valby is going to have an ultimate version, so I'll probably go after that at some point in time too. But
when you say ultimate, are those like stat changes too, or is it just cosmetic?
I'm not for sure. It's definitely like this is like the bunny with the ass cheeks hanging out.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down enough. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Not a maid, not an ass cheek. Ultimate. But I don't know if there are. I don't have any ultimate descendants, and I've not engaged with it because I haven't had to yet. But it would make sense because it's not like a skin that you equip. It's a whole other character that you have to unlock. So I'll have to. Oh, I also prestige Valby, and I've prestiged my gun. Which the other cool thing about that is you can pick. So each modifier that I just mentioned earlier, they have like a brand to it or a symbol. You can pick one of those symbols to put on your descendant or your weapon, and it sets your level back to 1. But anything that you put of that type is now 50% less. So that 1 that I'd stacked up that was like costing me 15 now is only costing me 7 or 8 or something like that. So that's a cool trade-off, but you're just grinding your character back up. So
yeah.
It's a fun game, man. I've probably been playing that more than anything else if I'm being real with you, but having a good time with it nonetheless.
Nice.
And that's a check-in on the first Ascendant. I don't think we have anything else from you. Let's get to the new shit. What have you been playing, man?
Yeah, I finished Paper Mario, so I don't have to talk about that anymore.
Done with it.
I played a couple of games. Why don't we talk about a game that you've talked about before, but now I can talk about it, and that is Zenless Zone Zero. ZZZ.
Yeah. What do you think?
So remember how I said I was gonna play this completely free and just do an experiment?
You're not gonna do that.
I totally just blanked on it and ended up spending $10, and then after I spent it, I went, wait, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh, son of a bitch. So whoops, spent money on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, only 10, and then I stopped. Also, you lied to me. There are definitely more than 2 maids. There's 3 maids and a butler. So because there's like
there's
Shark Girl,
Ellen.
there's Shark Maid. There's the one with like the big buzzsaw.
Yep.
I think you get her for free. There's the butler wolf guy, and then I believe there's another maid that yeah, he absolutely is a butler. And then there's like another like a blonde haired maid girl.
Isn't he?
I think.
Yeah. Never mind.
He's butler adjacent if he's not a butler. Anyway, it's fine. They do give you the big buzzsaw maid for free. She's like a freebie extra character that you get just by signing. I also like her a lot. Like I don't love the design, but I like any character who hits multiple times and just
fucking holds that attack.
Yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me of like the Hades shield where you can just kind of let it go out there, and so she can hit things a lot. So I started playing it, and I think I generally like it. It's the combat is maybe a little too simple for me. Like even thinking back to something like Genshin, which is certainly a slower type of combat, but it feels like there's more that you do.
Harder.
Yeah, it just there's so few moves per character in this. Like you have your light attacks, you have I guess it's a heavy attack, but it's kind of like something you activate that goes on a cooldown. You have an ultimate, you have like a dash attack. So if you are in the middle of a dash, you can get a slightly different light attack. But that's kind of it. I mean, you have like your character switch in parry stuff too.
I think it's because of the mobile.
Yeah, absolutely. But like Genshin's on mobile too, and it has ways of
slower.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll call out on that is I think that they intentionally do that because they keep so much of that game on a treadmill that if somebody like other games like a Destiny or whatever, even the first Ascendant, you get stuck, you're going to stop spending money or engaging with it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's very frictionless, which is still fun. Like it is fun to slash through a bunch of enemies. Like, hey, I'm a Dynasty Warriors fan. I know what it's like to keep hitting basically the same 2 buttons over and over. So it's not that it's bad. It's just I kind of thought there was going to be a little bit more here, or a little bit deeper mechanics in the fighting. The fighting is incredibly flashy, incredibly fun. I like a lot of the characters. I honestly, I really just like Anby, the first the first character you get. She's got a cool sword. She wears cool green clothes.
She's awesome.
She does like a lot of cool electric attacks. She's just really fun. So
Yep.
I ended up using Anby quite a bit.
And then character designs are great. I think the overall, like, everybody feels unique. I like all their move sets, even if they are similar, like prompts. Everything feels like it carries a bit more distinct impact. Like, while it might not do more damage, so to speak, at the beginning, later game, I've certainly had to, like, okay, this person's going to have a shield. They're going to be a little bit more susceptible to this. I'm going to be a bit more squishier to that, so I want to switch over to this person and do that stuff for sure.
Yeah. Also, with my free /$10 pulls that I got, I ended up getting the blue girl with the big sword.
She's very good.
She seems all right. Yeah. So I like the combat. I wish I understand again because it's built for mobile. But I wish the levels were a little meatier. I wish there was like more to do in a particular mission. Yep. But mostly what it is just like really tiny quick hits where you do a combat arena, then you get out of it and you go into that kind of TV puzzle stuff, which is fine. Yeah. And then you just do a small series of those fights until you get to the end. I think the hub is cool looking. I don't particularly like walking around it and doing all the Persona-y kind of stuff in there, but I think there's just a lot of nice character stuff and just cool environments to walk around in and be in, even if there's not a whole lot to it. And this was a thing I had a problem with Genshin as well. I just don't like all the, they were, swords and things that you get in Genshin, but in this one, it's the W engines. I think you kept calling them W bombs at one point, but yeah, the W engines.
They look like a bomb.
They very much do. I like that they're all are kind of funky looking and some are color coded to the characters that would use them best, and like one is like a big ramen bowl or something like that. So they do have some fun with some of those, but it's always a bummer when you do kind of gacha pulls and it's just, especially for something like Genshin, and it was sword like, okay,
all
and
engines.
This one, is basically just here's a ball, here's another ball, here's another ball, here's a purple ball, and like, yeah, okay. I was hoping to get characters. Where are the characters? But yeah, I think it's generally kind of fun. I like the voice acting that's in there. I might keep toying around with it every once in a while, but I don't think it's going to catch me like Genshin did for a couple months. But I think it is, we talked about doing the multiplayer sometime and trying that out, and I would totally be interested in doing that.
That's all about. I'm glad you checked it out. I would like to know where that goes, and is it going to have the staying power that like a Genshin does? And it seems to be very popular, so we'll see.
I was also surprised at just how few characters. I feel like there would be more characters at launch.
I think
obviously they will keep adding more Genshin did. That's how you keep people playing these games. But I kind of figured there would be a bigger smattering of characters to begin with, and there's a decent amount. It just I figured this being this kind of game, they would have a bunch of characters right away.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. What else you got going on?
I played, let's talk another quick hit here. I played Pokemon Emerald Rogue 2.0, which is, I've talked about Pokemon Emerald Rogue on this show before. It's the roguelike using Pokemon Emerald, if you couldn't tell from the name. But it's a really cool complete conversion hack of Pokemon Emerald that turns it into a really cool and really well thought out roguelike. So I've talked about the game before, but they just had this big 2.0 update that adds Pokemon all the way through Gen 9. So every Pokemon that's out there, they've thrown it in there. They've put in a bunch of new options and a bunch of new items and things like that. I don't know if there are new quality of life options, but when I went back in, there's just so many quality of life things. You can double the speed of wild Pokemon battles and have single speed for trainer battles if you want. And then also there's an option for important battles like against gym leaders or rivals or things like that. So you can adjust these things to speed up parts of the game that kind of don't matter.
Sure.
They've unlocked leveling stuff, like the way these games kind of work with Nuzlocke stuff or hardcore Nuzlocks. They will you can only get to the level of the highest Pokemon a gym leader would have before you face that gym leader, so you can't over level and just completely steamroll them. And this game just has that as a default option, but you can also turn it off and have the ability to over level if you want. They've got other difficulty modes in there. It's so well thought out, and it's still a really cool way to play Pokemon. I would encourage anybody who really remembers playing those kinds of Pokemon games, those GBA ones. I'm playing on my Analog Pocket, but I mean it's a GBA ROM hack, so you can play it on any GBA if you've put it on like an EverDrive or something like that. What?
Will you send that to me?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It breathes new life into that kind of Pokemon battling. It's still not exactly what I want out of a Pokemon game, because I like going through a Pokemon story, even how slight they are. But I like going on that adventure. I like collecting a team and keeping that team. And part of the thing with a roguelike is, you'll lose that team if you wipe, and then you go back to the beginning and have to face it again. So it's not my perfect way to play Pokemon, but it's a really fun way to play Pokemon that is very different from the stuff that's out there, while still having a lot of stuff that's incredibly familiar to it. So it's really, really cool. I think they did a great job.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm excited to check that one out. I've actually, I don't know where I saw somebody post about that, but I thought the concept sounded really cool for sure.
Yeah, it's super well done. I think they've got a lot of really cool ideas that keep the gameplay loop going. I could see it having kind of a Hades problem where it has things that you unlock in the overworld, like the hub area, that's going to make your runs go longer and longer and longer, to the point where it's not going to be 15 minutes to do a run. You're going to get up to hour, 2 hours of doing a run, and that's they have a quick save feature, but it's still, I really enjoyed those first few runs of Hades, because it's like, I'm just going to go in and do a quick run, and then I'm going to get out and then I'm going to leave. But then by the time I was ending Hades, it's like, all right, I'm going to clear my schedule and do a run, because I know it's going to take an hour and a half to get through this. And I think Pokemon Emerald Rogue does something similar in that way.
Hell yeah, man. I jumped the gun and put the next game on our text already. So sorry.
No problem. Flock might be a real game of the year contender.
That game rules, dude.
Flock is so good. Flock is so good. This is it's kind of what I wanted the new Pokemon Snap to be, where it was, here's like a more open world. You have to kind of go and navigate it, and maybe you have to do some things and get some conditions right for something to appear. And that's basically what Flock does. So to back up a little bit, Flock is by the makers of Ho-Hokum. If anybody out there has played that game.
Ponds, right? Is that who makes that?
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that you are, I forgot exactly what your title is, but you're like a bird runner or something to that effect, and you have a big bird that you fly on, and your aunt calls you to come and help them, because basically they have a Pokedex kind of thing that they want to figure out all the wildlife that are around them in this kind of valley canyon area, and so you're the one who's going to go and actually do the field research. So there are all these sky fish kind of things that are out there. They don't give them like a whole name.
I think I said this to you when we were streaming one night, but it reminds me a little bit of Bug Snacks in its design, not in its tone, but in its design and style.
Yeah, I think that's fair, because again, it's like trying to complete conditions and going to specific places and doing specific things to make the little dudes appear and be able to kind of collect them. So the way you collect them here is you have to sing songs. You have to get your bird to sing the songs that are like the songs of these different species. And what happens at the beginning of the game, one particular invasive thieving species rips through the town, and they steal a bunch of whistles that are the things that you would use to play the songs, and they also steal a feed bag, and they all these things like run away and go into different parts of the world. And so you have to go and collect the species and learn about the species, but also find these whistles, so then you can make the songs that actually collect the things. And what's really cool about it is, as you collect them, they don't just go to a box or something, or you don't have them in your it's not like Pokemon where you have them on a belt or anything. They just fly with you.
This is where I break the fourth wall. For those of you who haven't watched our show before, Chase really likes it when Pokemon follow you. Go on.
That's true. I do really like it when Pokemon follow you. Pokemon Emerald Rogue allows the Pokemon to follow you as well, which is pretty cool. But what's neat here is that you start building a flock. It's like that's why they named the game that.
You get charms that increase that, correct?
Yes, you find shinies that allow you to get a bigger flock. So I think you start out with 6, and then you go up by, I don't know, like groups of 4 or something as you go. So you start just collecting more and more, and anything that you've charmed to add, even if you get more than your current flock maximum, those do kind of go into a box that you can swap out at any time. So if you want to, you could collect a bunch of one species and just have them all follow you, or you can have a big variety of different species that follow you, and it's very fun to just fly around and have your whole crew flying around with you.
I didn't realize at the beginning that I'd be able to swap them out. I just had 4 of the same purple little guys.
Oh, I fucking hate those purple purple fucks.
I was just like, God, these guys suck. Give me some better ones. But then you'll find there is a day-night cycle too. And the one thing about this is that, and I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder here, but you'll get to a point where it's like, hey, tell me what this is. What do you think this species is? And it gives you 4 multiple choices based off of, okay, it has a pink snoot, it has this, because you're finding a family of species, and then you're going to find subspecies within that species that all have distinct patterns or shapes or changes, some of which at night have a glowing appearance to it and look really neat. The game is incredibly charming. It's wholesome as fuck. And it's got just a absolutely I need to turn my mind off in a good way and just get some serotonin, kind of flush out the bad, and just have a really you remember when we first played Animal Crossing and that warmth and joy you got from it?
Sure.
This game kind of brings that same happiness to it. And even if you get the wrong species, they're gonna be like, hey, that's not quite it, but here it is. There's no penalty.
Right. It's not meant to punish you on anything. The one way that they can punish you is if you fuck up the song.
Yes.
And then get one of those things to get spooked and they run away, and so you have to wait for another spawn of that thing, which sometimes those spawns are very rare.
Yes.
But the other aspect of this game is finding special ones of these creatures, and those special creatures generally have you go on kind of a wild goose chase to capture them or to charm them, but once you do charm them, then they use their magical powers or whatever to open up a little bit more of the world. There's a big fog that's over this mountain range area, and it descends a little bit each time to open up a new, I hate the word, but a new biome that you can go and explore and find new little critters to follow you. And there's some really fun looking little critters. I think we absolutely need to bring back our best new little guy category for Game of the Year. Totally. To talk about some of these guys, because there's definitely one that is my new best friend, and I will love him to death. So I think this game is absolutely fantastic until you hit credits. Which credits actually come kind of quick. It's a game I completed in 2 sessions and just over a weekend. It was pretty short, which I loved, but it ends somewhat abruptly where you get the feedback back, and I thought, okay, this is going to unlock a new thing that I get to do, and it's going to really open up the world. And the game says, no, you beat it. The game, game's over. Like the story part's over. And then after that, it goes, well, if you want to collect the rest of them, you can. Like you probably haven't found everything yet, and there were lots of things I hadn't even seen yet. So I thought, okay, I'll kind of keep going around and looking for some, and I collected a few more, but I ended up with like 6 that I even looked online to be like, where the fuck do I go to find one of these things? And it goes, okay, here's the deal. This one is super rare, and you have to do this a bunch of bullshit, and it's probably still not going to even be there, but you can go and do that if you want. And I said, no, I think I'm fine. I think I've spent like an extra hour looking around for one new creature and couldn't find it. And I went, this game's over. I had a really good time with it, and it's just going to start pissing me off if I continue to play it anymore. So I'm really happy with my session of it. This is not a game I need to platinum on my PS5. But I'm gonna leave it with these very happy memories and feel really good about it. So I had a really good time with Flock. I urge anybody who's playing that game to not feel the need to 100% it, because it's only going to piss you off.
Say less. You heard me. I'm not going to do it. I will be brief here. I'll just come out of the gate right away and say I played Cataclysmo on Monday with Chase. I will have a lot more thoughts next week, but in the spirit of time, go watch our Casual Monday stream and see what you think about it. We had a little bit of a rough go because there's a lot of tutorial hand holding. It's a slow burn, but we're going to come back when I know more and can show more on that game.
It seems like that's going to be a really cool thing once you actually start to like wrap your head around what the game wants you to do.
I'm already doing it. It's fucking cool.
Nice.
That game
very
rules.
Cool.
But I do want to spend a little bit of time tonight telling you how cool Dungeons of Hinterberg is. You and I streamed this. You got to see it. If you don't remember, this is that really cool dungeon-based kind of comic book Scandinavian game. It is a wholesome. It's like, what if the shrines from Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom went to IKEA and fell through a comic book? That's what this is. Each region has dungeons, and each region has a set power that you can get. The one that you saw, Chase, was like a hoverboard or a snowboard that then you had like a beam power for. You always get some sort of like alternate power and then a ranged attack. One of them was I can create a tornado, and I could ride the tornado and elevate to like higher points, which was cool. But the game is not necessarily like a looting game. You'll find better gear in the dungeons that you can upgrade, and it's pants, tops, hats, swords, etc. But it is a relationship game. It's not like a dating sim, but you are kind of escaping your daily grind of, I'm tired of the 9 to 5 bullshit. There's more to life than just work. I want to chase my adventures. And there's a lot of what I'm coining to be just like millennials to elder millennials in this game that are burnt the fuck out from everything around them. And this game is just telling you that life is short. Take the adventure when you can, and don't let the fucking stress of growing in a corporate world drown you out. And I think that's a really cool sentiment. As you build relationships, you unlock a stronger bond with those people in Hinterberg. And as you do that, you get more ability. So like, hey, if I really wanted to focus on the crafting and upgrading aspect of my gear, I'm going to go hang out with the blacksmith more. If I want to just work on my resistance, or if I want to work on my health, maybe I'm going to go find some like places to just sit and take in the beauty. And they do these little cool things also where it's like in Persona, you can choose how to end your night. Like, hey, I'm going to study and I'm going to increase the stat. Well, in this one, it's like, hey, if you stay up watching TV or reading that book, you're going to learn something and your amusement might go up, but you're going to have a 25% deduction to your overall health. So maybe you're too tired to go to the dungeons tomorrow, but maybe just go find some shit to look at and focus on yourself. So like, it's a really cool thing of like, don't overdo it. Don't burden yourself. Like, don't feel like you have to do everything perfect, because if you do, something's going to give, and you have to figure out what you're willing to sacrifice. And I think that the more I play this game, the more it's really clicking with me on just like how I evaluate, like how I spend all the place. We talked about, when do you game? And I said, I play games late at night. I'm tired in the morning, but I get to play a game at night to talk about on this show on Wednesday. So there's always a trade-off, right? That you do. And the game, it plays pretty simply. Like, there are some challenges. It will humble you pretty quick if you try to go to a dungeon you're not ready for. But it is wholesome. Definitely something you probably saw at the Wholesome Direct. But it is, I didn't talk about who makes it, by the way. Let me pull that up here, because
Sure.
I think that they're doing some really cool stuff.
It's really chill. That's like, it just seems chill everywhere. Even when you're doing the dungeon stuff, it doesn't seem like anything is too punishing in there, at least from the bit that I saw. It is solving the puzzles, going the right direction. It's kind of just like a very chill Zelda-y time in those areas.
What I will say is I've got 4 hours in it, outside of the demo. I've got to the third world where there's a bunch of different dungeons there. It came from Microbird Games. It will set you back $30. I know it's on PC. I don't know if it's anywhere else right now.
I don't believe it is.
Okay. So PC only right now. It is on Game Pass if you have that subscription. Definitely worth checking out. It's very cool. PC. It's on Xbox then, right? Like, if it's...
It might just be on PC Game Pass. I can look it up. You keep talking about it.
But yeah, definitely on Game Pass. Definitely on PC. I'm playing this on Steam, and there is
this does say Xbox Series X and S.
Okay, so you can play it on Xbox. I believe it's on Xbox Cloud Gaming, and it's on PC. Definitely worth checking out. There was a demo of it at some point in time. There still might be something out there for it. All right, Chase. Those are the games. Next week, I'll have an update on Once Human and a deeper dive into Cataclysmo. We talked about Dungeons of Hinterberg. We get a check-in on First Descendant. You went over Pokemon Emerald Rogue 2.0, Flock, and Zenless Zone Zero. Now, we got some fucking games to talk about. Well, we got some characters to talk about.
Yeah, Bobby, I'm going to take you for a ride here, and we're going to talk about a theoretical Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Now, some people out there might say there already is a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. It's called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. To those people, I would go, no, that's a bad game. Nobody remembers that. That's not a thing. We're talking a fourth Marvel vs. Capcom game, and to do that, I think it's fun that we come up with our own lists here and do a little draft. I think Bobby knows a few more Marvel characters than I do. I probably know a few more Capcom characters than Bobby does. So I think we'll end up with some balanced lists here, and we'll see who can make the better roster here. So criteria wise, I think we can kind of go with whatever we want, whether it's like characters that we think would make for a good fighting game, just your favorites. Really cool character. If you want to play to an audience and try to pick the most popular characters, you're welcome to do that too. Whatever criteria you want, but the idea here is that we will end up with, each of us will have 10 Capcom characters, 10 Marvel characters, and that will be our 20-person roster. And then Bobby will have his own 20-person roster, and then we can see who just did better. So how would you like to start this draft, Bobby?
Why don't we do Capcom? Well, I mean, do you want to do like one Capcom, one Marvel?
I think we should probably do all Capcom and then all Marvel, or vice versa. But I think we should probably stick with the things.
Let's start with Capcom just from an alphabetical standpoint.
Okay. So if we're doing that, I think what probably makes it fair. So there are lots of ways to do drafts. There's like a snake draft where, I would pick one, then Bobby would pick two, and then I would pick the next one. So it's not just, Chase gets all of the top things and Bobby has to do all the secondary ones. But I think in the spirit of kind of going back and forth here, what if, because I'm at a disadvantage, I suppose, when it comes to Marvel, what if I went first for Marvel and we go back and forth, and then you go first for Capcom and we go back and forth. So that kind of evens things out.
Yeah. That sounds great. All right. So we're starting with Capcom.
Starting with Capcom, that means we start with you. So Bobby, who is your first round draft pick when it comes to Capcom? Who do you want to lead your fucking franchise?
Lady D.
No, all right, brother. you do what you're gonna do. I'll keep these lists here. Bobby,
is it Dimitri Sue? Is that how you say her name?
Demetri. I didn't
French,
play.
correct?
I didn't. Lady D's fine. Everybody knows who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Girl with the hat.
Big
vampire with the hat.
Big vampire lady with the hat.
All right, Lady D is Bobby's first pick.
Okay.
Good on you, you crazy man. All right.
Yeah,
and then I gotta put my own name in here. Chase. All right. So my first pick then, I'm gonna go with something a little bit more traditional. I'm just going to go with Akuma from Street Fighter. He's a classic fighting game guy. I really like Akuma. I don't particularly like Ken and Ryu, but I feel like I need a character that can do a Hadouken and can do a hurricane kick. Yeah. Like that's the guy I need. I need a guy who does a dragon punch. So I'm picking Akuma.
All right. My next one up is V from Devil May Cry 5.
Okay.
I think that he's going to be somebody that can like do summons and shit. Like he has a Griffin attack that you could pull in to fight for him, but he also can like transform a bit and channel some dark demonic energy and do like some cool melee shit with it. So he seems pretty unimposing until he gets like a rage or something like that.
All right, I like this. I like that you're picking characters of games that I've never played and probably will never play, so they're not overlapping with me whatsoever. I'm gonna stick with Street Fighter for my number 2, and I'm gonna go with the winner of Street Fighter 6 Evolution Fighting Tournament. I'm picking Cammy. I love Cammy. She's my girl.
Has she been in a game before?
She's been in many. Has she been in I think she's in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but she's not in 3.
I misread the assignment.
What?
Every person you're going to hear from me tonight has never been in one of these games.
I think that's fantastic. But no, you can absolutely pick people from current fighting games.
No, not for me.
Okay. Well, okay. You have that option if you want it, though. No. If you ever need to fall back on somebody, you can do that. Okay.
Never.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big Cammy fan. I think she does some cool moves. I'm much more Cammy than I am Chun-Li. You're not going to see Chun-Li on my list, but I will go for a Cammy.
All right. Next up for me, Avinia, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, baby. She rides the Barioth. Frost Girl, blonde.
Okay. Yes,
she
I remember her now.
She would have Ice Slash. She would have a Frost Fang Charge. She would use an ultimate move, which was a Blizzard Assault. She would fucking tear it up.
I think I have an amiibo of her.
Yeah, she's very good, and it's a Barioth, so goddamn, that's cool. Fucking monster.
Barioth is pretty good. I figured so that is like the one. Well, not Avinia specifically, but people are speculating that if there ever was a Marvel vs. Capcom 4, you would have to put some type of monster hunter, whether you just put like a generic hunter or whatever. You got to have some monster hunter representation at this point.
Capcom better fucking tune the fuck in. We're just getting warmed up.
Capcom's a Monster Hunter company now. Like Street Fighter, whatever, but the Monster Hunter, that's the one we're doing. All right, I'm gonna get away from Street Fighter with my next one here. I'm gonna go with maybe you've heard of this guy, Mega Man, but I'm specifically going with Mega Man Volnut, which is the one from Mega Man Legends. I just like his design a little bit more.
Fair. Love it.
Yeah, Mega Man Volnut.
Next up for me, Muscular Chef from Monster Hunter World.
Fuck you! Oh, Bobby, that was on my list.
Fuck you, Chase.
I was on my list to snipe from you because I figured you would absolutely.
He would do Skewer Strike. He would have a buffet boost, and he would have a meow mixer, motherfuckers.
That's a good one.
Come in hot.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. You took that one from me. I can't pick Muscular Chef. All right, I'm going back to my fighting game standards here. I'm going with Felicia, who is the original cat girl, blue hair, big paws. I think Felicia's really fun. I like all of her like rolling. She's basically like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. She like gets up into a ball and then dashes. She's very cool. I like her.
Nice.
All right, Bobby. I think you're on number 5.
I am. On number 5, it is Sigurd. He is a character from Dragon's Dogma 2.
Okay.
He's pretty awesome. He's got a lot of powerful moves. He's a Mystic Spear Hand, which is what I learned the move from. He teaches it to you. He would be a ton of fun. Wears a cloak, very, very menacing.
Okay, I'm looking up Sigurd, Dragon's Dogma 2. I want to see this guy.
No,
I know how to spell it. There's a Fire Emblem guy named Sigurd as well, so I'm familiar. Okay, yeah, he's got like a leather. He's got like an Assassin's Creed look going on. Okay, okay, I can respect that. My number 5. God, sorry, I have ones that are not just current easy fighting game characters, but I definitely wanted to get my big ones out of the way. My next one is Dalsum, who's my man. I like my stretchy armed boy. He is my man. I love any character with big stretchy arms. You might see that in my Marvel picks as well. But Dalsum, he's my boy. I love Dalsum.
Hell yeah. My next one, I'm gonna butcher the name of this, and I need your help here, Chase. So I started playing Kunitsu-Gama, Path of the Goddess. I'm gonna talk about it next week. But I think it's rooted in like actual Japanese folklore.
There is some folklore stuff in it. Yeah, I don't know how accurate it is.
Is the name I'm going with? So I believe that's
the
character that you play. He's like a sword dancer. He wears a mask. He's kind of who you are coordinating the tower defense efforts with.
I've seen that character. I've been considering purchasing that game.
I think you would like it a whole lot. It's very cool.
I bet I would. But
I think it would be a fun character to have in there, and a newer franchise from them too, or a newer IP from them.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I really like his. I like the whole style of that game, but I think that character has some really cool style. My number 6. I'm going back to the Mega Man well. I'm going with Cutman, who has never been in a fighting game. I love Cutman. I think he could throw his fucking scissors. Cutman. I love Cutman.
Yeah, man.
Cutman's so cool. They should put Cutman in more games just for no reason.
Cutman sounds like somebody from a Kojima game, but I like it.
He's easily my favorite Robot Master. I guess Woodman is pretty high up there too, but Cutman's my guy. I also watched the Mega Man cartoon growing up, Cutman had like the highest pitched, shittiest voice, and I loved him. I loved Cutman so much.
My tamest pick yet, Chase, is Luke, because he hadn't been in the fighting game. I'm sorry, he had not been in one of these games yet. He's one of the newer. I think he was Street Fighter 5, and then he was he's the cover of Street Fighter 6, but he has not been in a Marvel vs. Capcom. And the little bit of Street Fighter 6 I played, I thought Luke was a pretty cool character.
Okay, I dig it. I like going to the new stuff. That's fun. My number 7. Again, I'm staying in the Mega Man mold here. Man, I've got some other ones down here, but they're all further down. I thought you might take some of these higher ones. I'm going to take Tron Bonne, also from the Mega Man Legends franchise. She was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. She's really fun. She's the one who like throws out all the serve bots, and Servbot was a character in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 who was very cool, but I feel like you get the serve bot stuff with Tron Bonne, and I still think Tron Bonne's Tron Bonne's such a good character.
Nice.
So
my next one,
Tron Bonne.
Leon S. Kennedy.
Okay.
Pistol shot. Roundhouse kick.
Do you have a preferred Leon S. Kennedy? Which version of Leon? Like a 4 or like a 6 or like a 4 makes sense. Like with the brown leather jacket.
Brown leather jacket.
Do you think he'd have Do you think he'd have like attacks where like Ashley shows up to do something annoying? Oh, maybe he has to like protect Ashley. He can be like one of those characters where he's like a real badass, but if Ashley ever gets hit, he starts to suck.
You're not thinking big enough. You're not thinking big enough. All the fucking villagers just bum rush the screen and knock the character down.
It's true. That's true. Yeah. He's got to have that big chainsaw too. You gotta get the chainsaw in there. That'd be great. If he get like the GameCube chainsaw controller, that's what you really need.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Now we're fucking talking. All right, my number 8. This is a bit of a different pick. This character has been in a fighting game before, though. I'm picking the PTX-40A. Bobby, do you remember what the PTX-40A is from?
No.
Lost Planet Extreme Condition. That's one of the big mechs.
My next character's Wayne Holden.
I love it.
I've got Wayne Holden next.
So for me, the PTX-40A is from Tatsunoko versus Capcom. They did put that character in there, or that machine. It's pretty fun in there. It's like a big character, so that's a game where you have like a tag thing, and Marvel vs. Capcom is also tag. But in this, if you get one of the big characters, they count for multiple character slots. So you can't have as many characters if you pick one of the big boys. Nice. And the PTX-40A is definitely one. All right, so sorry, who is the main character from Lost Planet? Why do you know this?
Why?
Wayne Olden?
Holden, Holden.
Gotcha. Okay, Wayne Holden from Lost Planet. Yeah, I mean, I guess he would function the same as.
If he was partnered up with your character, there's some sort of stat boost. Absolutely.
Sure. I like that. But like he's got the grappling hook too. So I imagine he would work a lot like Bionic Commando guy.
He would have so I have that down. I have the grappling hook. I have plasma gun. I also have vital suit summon, which will allow him to like heal up a little bit. And then ultimate move, which would be Planet Fury, which combines advanced weaponry and then a vital suit attack.
I've really considered going back and playing Lost Planet again.
If there was a game that they would bring back, I would love for them to make a modern Lost Planet.
That would be pretty cool. Also, I know the character's name Rad Spencer. He's not Bionic Commando guy. I know these things. All right.
My last character.
No. You pick. It's mine. It's on book now.
It's your.
All right. I might be sniping this from you because I feel like you would have said this one by now. I'm taking Amaterasu from Okami.
No.
All right. I love that. I love that sweet dog. She is in MVC3 and she's very good there.
My last character is Red from Monster Hunter Stories.
Okay. Red's the Monstie. Yeah, he is the Rathalos.
No. Red is at the beginning, he's like the old guy, like the old fighter that kicks the game off in Monster Hunter Stories 2. He's like super big, gray, big hair. He goes to fight at the beginning.
Okay.
Fucking gigantic beef of a hunter or a rider.
Yes. Okay, right. I forgot he gets super old.
Yep.
And okay, I like that. That's fun. Man, you picked 2 things from Monster Hunter Stories. That's wild.
Aren't you proud?
I am. I'm surprised.
I'm
thought
surprised
about
trying to give you just like the generic Monster Hunter that can like pull the different weapons in from Monster Hunter.
Sure.
I felt that was too much of a gimme.
I mean, my only Monster Hunter was Meowscular Chef, and he wasn't even in my top 10. I wouldn't have gotten to him. I'm surprised that we had completely separate top. I guess I'm not that surprised. My number 10 is Elena from Street Fighter. I really like her too. Like she's
cool.
from Third Strike, but she's the one who's like got the super long legs and just. Third Strike has so many fucking frames of animation, and she just kind of does like all this, like almost like capoeira kind of dancey fights, and she fucking rules. I love her a lot. She did really well in Evo this year as well. Nice. I had a lot of fun remembering her. Let me run down a couple because I had like some in like my 11 to 20 picks that I think were a little bit more interesting. I'm surprised.
I'm gonna ask. You give those to me, write up a little blurb, and I'll put that into our graphics so we can stay on topic tonight.
Sounds good.
I think that would be kind of a cool thing for me to bring into the art and stuff for it. So give that to me still, and
Okay.
I'll give that to you, and then you can tweet out and talk and give your flowers that way.
Okay.
If you're cool with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. So are we just moving on to Marvel then?
Let's move on to Marvel.
All right. Let me get the list. Okay, that's gonna work. Okay. So I get to choose first for Marvel.
Yes, you do.
I feel like we're gonna have some more overlap on this one.
I've got I've got a bigger pool to pull from here if I need to.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I also have 20 options here, so I'm prepared in case. Yep. Just on the off chance. I'm gonna go with my boy, who, you know, absolute movie star. Everyone loves him. He has the best Marvel movies. Everyone says so. Venom.
Fair.
Gotta take Venom.
Yeah. My first one again, Chase. I'm going with people who have not been picked here.
Okay.
Not been in one. Blade.
Blade. Has he ever been in?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. Felt like he might have been an Infinite, but if you say so, I believe you. All right. I don't have to put the games down that they're from because they're not from games; they're from comics. This is easy. All right, number 2. I'm going with my. He feels underrated to me. I imagine a lot of people love him, but I feel like he gets underrated. He also hasn't been in one of these games since Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it's a fucking shame. Go with my boy Cyclops. Cyclops rule.
He's underrated.
He is so good in the fighting game stuff too. Like, I love the optic blast stuff. I like his voice acting stuff that's in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. He's such a great character. I mean, I know he's just kind of a shitty dude who loves Jean Grey and is also kind of a dick about it and is fighting with Wolverine all the time in the comics. But I just like Cyclops. I think he's cool. I like his eye lasers. They're neat.
I agree. I think that he gets shit on a lot, but he is a cool character. He's very visually very cool. I picked Star-Lord.
Okay.
I think he makes a ton of sense for a lot of reasons. He's been in other games.
Sure. Yeah.
He's hot.
Got to get that Chris Pratt money.
Yes. Yes.
You think he would fight with cassette tapes? Like he would like play different songs as you fight?
I would definitely think that there would be some good music with him. Like he would taunt with that, but I think that he would be using a lot. He'd be more of a trickster type. He'd use a lot of gadgets.
Sure. He's got like jet boots or something, right? Like he can fly around and stuff like that.
He would be evasive. He would set traps. He would make you look like a fool while fighting you because that's what he does.
Fair enough. All right. I'm going to take somebody who's never been in a fighting game before. I'm going to take Spider-Gwen from
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, well, you can't have her now. Can't have her now.
That's a good one.
I want specifically the Into the Spider-Verse version because I like that art style. I think that would be a fun contrast from like the more traditional Venom for my roster. I think Spider-Gwen's super cool. Like Spider-Man's fine, but I think Spider-Gwen rules. So I'm taking Gwen Stacy.
I'm choosing fucking Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, baby.
There we go. Now we're fucking talking.
Misery. That's what you've chosen, Parker. I'm something of a Street Fighter myself, Parker.
Well, you definitely have the biggest penis on the roster.
Hell yeah.
All right. I just need to remember how to spell Willem.
Wilem.
Oh, I got it now. Yeah. Mr. Dafoe, man. I have not seen the Vincent Van Gogh movie that he's in, but I would very much like to. He just really seems like he was tailor made for that role.
Yeah.
All right. I'm up. This is my 4th pick. All right. I gotta go bog standard. Give me Captain America. I love the shield. The shield throw is too much fun. He's a classic fighting game character. Cap is so good.
He's very good. My next one up is Daredevil, and it's a fucking shame Daredevil's not been in one of these games.
So Daredevil was in um, Marvel Rise of the Imperfects. Like that's a 3D fighter, so a very different kind of one of these. But I do remember him being very cool in that game.
Daredevil's one of my favorite Marvel characters, bar none. Like I think he's such a like that Netflix series is some of the best Marvel. Period. It's so good.
Yeah. All right. Sticking pretty bog standard. If I have Captain America, then I definitely have to have Iron Man. I'm gonna take him. Him. I was prepared. I had War Machine next, just on the off chance that you said Iron Man. I was like, fine, I'll just take War Machine.
Looks cooler than Iron Man.
I agree, but like you gotta have. I feel like you gotta have Iron Man. So I'm gonna take Iron Man.
My next one up is Kingpin. I think Kingpin would be fucking awesome in this game as a big bad.
Yeah, I mean, so in these games, you always kind of have to have the big characters. You have to have like the Hulk in some of these things. Hulk is not on my list, so you're welcome to have him if you want. But like you've got like Hulk or the Thing or a classic one from X-Men versus Street Fighter is Juggernaut. So like you got a bunch of guys who are big. Kingpin, I feel like never gets put in that list, and he absolutely should.
He's huge.
He's also Vincent D'Onofrio, which
that he can't get better than that. Man, he eats that up.
All right, and now this is feeling too. My list is feeling too standard now. You know what? I'm gonna skip over some of these people, and I'm gonna get to my fun ones. All right, my number 6 is Super Skrull. He's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah. Again, stretchy arms. I think Super Skrull fucking rules. I love Super Skrull. He is so good. I don't really care about the Fantastic Four all that much, but goddamn do I love Super Skrull.
Yeah, man. He's great. I
think Fantastic Four has like all the best villains. Venom notwithstanding. Venom's the best villain.
I would say that Fantastic Four has the best villain. And Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
I think Doctor Doom is one of the coolest looking, and also there is a fucking sequence where he rips the fucking skull and spine out of Thanos. Like that dude rules. He's so badass.
Doom's pretty good. He's not my favorite Fantastic Four villain, but he is. I totally respect that he is up there as probably the best. Generally.
My next character is Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's Batista.
It is Batista. He's got the 2 blades, super strong, a lot of fun. You could also tie in some of his quirkiness of like, you can't see me, I'm invisible. Just fucking great fighting character. He's also a wrestler, so Jesus Christ, like he'll be perfect for this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my number 7 is a character I loved playing with for X-Men versus Street Fighter, and that is Iceman.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think Iceman rules. I got really disappointed because I played so much X-Men versus Street Fighter in the arcades. And then like the X-Men movies came out and Iceman was lame. Iceman was so fucking lame and it made me so sad. But I love like Iceman when he's got like the full ice going on and he's making like ice bridges that he's slipping on. Iceman fucking rules. And in the fighting game, like he would like turn his fist into like a giant ball of ice and then he would just hammer you with it. And Iceman had so many cool moves. I'm a big Iceman fan.
Absolutely. My next one, Chase, is Miles Morales.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Like, again, you've got Gwen in there. You've had Spider-Man, but we haven't seen him. And I think his Venom punch, I think like his ability to turn invisible, like all
his
that
like
stuff.
Electric shocky attack stuff too. Yeah,
I think that could be really cool for him.
I like that. I like that none of us have said Spider-Man proper so far. That's pretty good. All right, I am going to go with somebody from the Spider-Man universe as well. Again, Bobby. I like the big stretchy arms. Give me that Doc Ock,
dude. I will tell you, one of my favorite performances in any comic book movie is Dr. Octavius from Spider-Man 2.
He's so good.
The conviction he brings to that character is fucking it holds up today. It's still so good. It's so good.
I mean, I like his like classic suit of like the green and yellow stuff, but I like the brown trench coat. I think that was a cool look for him in the movie.
Well. Spider-Man has the coolest looking, I think, villain squad.
I mean, again, I think Fantastic Four is maybe eclipses it, but yeah, Spider-Man has some strong ones as well.
I might be taking one from you with the stretchiness here, but I picked Miss Marvel Kamala Khan here.
I didn't have her on there because I feel like I got enough stretchy people, but I like that. I like that pick.
Yep.
All right.
So we're on your 8, and then we'll go to 9, right?
I'm on my 9th.
Okay.
Because I went first. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. I think again, like this is from the X-Men versus Street Fighter days. I really loved this character. Yeah. I guess she's in a movie, but I have not seen the one where Olivia Munn plays as this character. But I love Psylocke. I think Psylocke is really cool. I loved using her moves. She felt like she played a lot like Cammy in X-Men versus Street Fighter, which I just really liked. I just thought she had a really cool move set, and I liked her look in those games. Again, I haven't seen the movie she's in.
There was a Marvel game she was in. They made a third one for the Switch. Really cool.
Is that the Ultimate Alliance ones?
Dude, we should play that on a Monday night.
We should. That game just seems like it's solid.
I have it on the Switch.
It's never gone on sale. Not once.
That one's really good, by the way. We should.
Yeah, I hear it is. I've had it on my list forever, and I've just waited for it to go on sale.
Good. The Ultimate Alliance games are great.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. My
number 9 from Bobby.
Moon Knight.
Okay, because you were just such a big fan of the show.
I liked the show quite a bit, actually.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. Is that Moon Space Knight, or is Moon Knight all one word?
Knight. Okay. He's really cool. He's got similar moves and tools like a Batman, but he's got some supernatural abilities to him, which is really cool too. And it's like all Egyptian fucking goddess and shit. So like it's really neat how he kind of gets this stuff. Show's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have to call an audible here because the next one on my list was going to be Galactus, who is I just love Galactus, but also how do you make that work in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 story mode? He is like the final boss because he is so much bigger than anything. You can't have him be a character, so I'm not picking Galactus as much as I would like to. I think, man, I want to come up with somebody interesting here. God, I gotta be me.
Do you?
I started my list with Venom, and I'm going to end it with Carnage. I think Carnage could be real cool, real fast, do a lot of stuff like Venom, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I think Carnage is neat.
Yeah, agreed. My number 10 is Vision. I think Vision would be awesome in one of these games. He's got all the abilities. He can fly, mind beam. He's got an aerial strike. I think that he would be just like kind of like a Captain America almost, like just a very big presence to have in this game, like very strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my Marvel picks.
So none of us picked Wolverine.
I picked nobody that's been in one of these games.
I know. It still feels weird. I had Wolverine. He was originally my number 7. But I felt like I was going with these stock characters at some point, and I just needed to pick somebody a little bit different. No Wolverine. I had Storm on my list somewhere, and I was like, Storm should probably be in here.
Yeah. Psylocke's better.
Psylocke's a weirder pick, and I don't mind being a little weirder in this one. Yeah. Well, we've got our list. Why don't we run down our list real quick? I know we're running over on time, but just so the people can hear. So Bobby's list is Lady D, V from DMC5, Venia from Monster Hunter Stories 2, Meowscular Chef from Monster Hunter World specifically, Sigurd from Dragon's Dogma 2, So from Kunitsugami, Luke from Street Fighter, Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil 4, Wayne Holden from Lost Planet Extreme Condition, and Red from Monster Hunter Stories 2. And your Marvel characters are Blade, Star-Lord. I forgot to put Green Goblin, so I just wrote Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin. All right, very important to add that. Kingpin, Drax the Destroyer, Miles Morales, Kamala Khan, Moon Knight, and Vision. And my list is Akuma from Street Fighter, Cammy from Street Fighter, Mega Man Volnut from Mega Man Legends, Felicia from Darkstalkers, Dhalsim from Street Fighter, Cutman from Mega Man, Tronbon from Mega Man Legends, PTX-40A from Lost Planet Extreme Condition, Amaterasu from Okami, and Elena from Street Fighter. And then my Marvel picks were Venom, Cyclops, Spider-Gwen, Captain America, Iron Man, Super Skrull, Iceman, Dr. Octopus, Psylocke, and Carnage. I think those are fun. Those are fun lists.
I got news for you. I'd play that game.
I think that'd be a fun game. Yeah, you know, no Ryu, no Ken, no Wolverine. Fuck them. Who needs them?
Fuck them.
We've got better lists right here. These are fun. These are fun games.
I'm gonna put together some graphics for us that we'll be able to share out, and then if you send me your bonus list, I'll make an actual visual for the true one, and I'll just give you kind of like a nice text.
Yeah, like an honorable mention section.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I like that.
Cool. This has been a lot of fun. Let's show up where you can find us. As we mentioned, we are pretty heavily on Threads these days. At least I am. But if you want to follow along with the show, there's our links. thecasualhour.com will get you all the good stuff. We checked out Cataclysmo on Monday. You should do the same thing. We'll probably be talking about that game and showing that game again in the future. Tonight was all about our games that we've been playing, but also our rosters that you just heard about. And on Friday night, I think I'm going to play a little Dungeons with Hinterberg and have just a very chilled, laid-back stream with everybody for a bit, and let you all check out that game with me. So that'll be what we're up to this week. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I've got a new episode of Black Hole Sun here on my YouTube channel, Chase K Plays. You can go check that out now. I'm still going through the Gold Comet area, and I'm somewhere over 50% done with that game, but there's a lot more to go, I'm sure. But yeah, episode 12 is out now. And then Pierce and I, good friend of the show, Pierce Corshane and I, are still doing our pilot program podcast where we watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. The Jeffersons is out there. That's still a relatively new episode, so you can go check that out. That was a lot of fun to make. And then our new one, which we are recording next week, is going to be on Lost. So that's a big one. And I still haven't gone back and watched the episode yet, so I'm a little scared on if that show holds up or not. But that'll be a lot of fun. So go check that out. shows.acast.com/pilot program.
Awesome. We'll be back live Friday. Have a great week.